took a walk and just found some problem spots and some problem areas. So just stuff to bring to your attention. While it's too dry to be mowing fence rows, the hay's pretty much all picked up, maybe some weed cutting getting ready to start next week. But maybe if you have some time and you want to get out in your cornfields and want me or Tom or Larry or Josh to come out and take a look with you, maybe we can address some of these problems we have. And maybe you can't fix them all right now, but maybe we can take a look and fix them for the future. So just a few things that I'm starting to see a little bit. And we'll start here, right? I mean, if you look at it visually, this is a perfectly healthy plant, V6 pushing V7, right? But as we get down to it, right, we're starting to see some sin show up from this spring, right? Because maybe we pushed the button just a little too early. We didn't give it enough time to dry out, whatever it is. But this field behind me was worked twice, and I think you can see both depths of the field cultivator, right? So I think this was the first pass. This is the second pass on an otherwise healthy plant, right? So as long as we have moisture, I don't think you'll see a lot of stress in this plant. But as we move on, the first thing it's going to show is drought stress, right? So then we're going to start losing sulfur and zinc, more on nitrogen, potassium, right? So as we move on and we don't get any rain, we can see some issues start to stack up on some of this stuff when we get in areas like this. You can see that's going to make a pretty tight root system. It breaks apart halfway decent. Part of it's pretty tight on that bottom part. This first half is just really platy and nasty. So we've got a lot of root system there, but this root system is not going to be a deep penetrating root. So we'll take a look and see what we got. As long as we stay wet, we might never see a problem, but just want to bring some of these issues to address and see what we got. So again, a pretty healthy plant. That first layer's not really showing up, but man, that second layer, it is just hard, right? I'm a pretty big guy, and when I jump on a spade, it ought to go all the way in the ground. We were going below this, it broke off here. But again, you're just getting those plates from compaction. And I don't think anybody planned anything too wet, but maybe we're just a little early on some of this stuff. So we'll take a look and see.
You might talk about horizontal roots. Them from here, those have some, you can tell they hit that compaction layer. Not to interrupt your mojo there.
No,
but
you're fine. So, and like Tom said, we're getting a lot of horizontal growth, right? So we're not going to reach down and get to that nitrogen level that, you know, if you've knifed on ammonia that 8 or 9 inches deep, I don't know, that's, let's call that 5-6 inches. It's going to have a hard time getting to some of them nutrients we put out there for these plants. So we'll see what happens. Again, if we stay wet, we can bust through that hard compaction layer. But as we move forward, and it looks like we're in a little bit of a dry pattern, maybe we get lucky and join Southern Illinois with some of these rains that are forecasted. But as we move forward, we might see some issues start to show up. So, I mean, you can see the lower leaves, but those are pretty much junk and null void. But otherwise, a pretty healthy looking corn plant to start with. So, like I said, man, get out and take a look. Grab a shovel, grab a spade. If you got questions, holler at us. So, throw that one away. And again, this is all the same field dug this morning, right? So, we're finding a few of those issues, right? So, how quick did the planter follow the field cultivator? Did we get enough time to air? We've got a hell of a deep root system, but we've got sidewall compaction showing up. And now this is not the whole field, this is not everywhere, but these are just things we're finding in one field in particular. It's kind of neat to see that much variability to cross it. So what's the yield potential on that? It's the same corn planted the same day. You know, that doesn't look like it's going to make 250 bushel to me. Maybe it will, maybe it'll rain every week, but again, just some things we're seeing, want to bring to your attention so we've got an idea on what to look for. Again, same field, same plant. I don't know exactly what's all going on here, right? It's a pretty poor root system. This didn't have a bunch of neighbors around it. It wasn't, you know, the spacing's pretty darn good out here, right? But again, why is this happening? Well, if you start digging down, right, this one side was a little smeary, right? And we're seeing that show up. So from the road, you can't tell a thing, but you get out here and you start digging, we're seeing some pretty neat stuff. I guess neat, I don't know if it's neat or not. If it's your field, it's probably not real neat. But, and then again, another pretty healthy plant, a little bit of hard pan at the bottom. But we are starting to see some leaf striping, right? So we're starting to see some of those, your zincs, your sulfurs, your magnesium, starting to show up where we're getting a little deficient. And I know this field, it does not have a shortage of nutrients, right? It's a livestock area. The soil tests look perfect, tissue tests look above average. But again, just because we've got a compacted root system and lack of moisture, we're starting to see some of this leaf striping. And as we move forward, and if it stays dry, we're probably going to see more of it and more of it show up. Don't hit the panic button, and let's not go put 900 pounds of sulfur and why drop 40 quarts of zinc to fix this stuff. It's issues we need to work on moving forward in the future. And maybe there is a resolution. We can put some stuff out here. If we've got a rain forecasted and we come back in with a foliar pass and help feed some of this and make up for some of these deficiencies, hell yes, let's evaluate that option. So see what we got. So we'll see how it works. But like I said, keep an eye on things. And then, here's kind of worst case scenario. This is it was a ditch. It was a really hard spot, but just want to pick it. When we get this far gone, it's too late, guys. We can't remedy it. So when we start seeing that leaf striping, that's when we need to start making or deciding on a course of action. If we see this is going to be hard to recover from. I mean, this growth is all pretty much smoked. I don't think there's much of a chance on this plant. We're starting to see it on those top upper leaves. But like I said, if you got time, if you want us to come dig, take a look, get out, take a gander in some of these fields you think look pretty good from the road, because if we stay hot and dry, when it comes harvest time, a lot of these problems are going to be magnified, and maybe we could have made a difference, maybe we couldn't, but you'll never know unless you go take a look. So I appreciate it. Thanks for the time, guys. Have a good day.